What's up guys, it's Vu and I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to talk about how I finally caught my first northern snakehead here in Maryland. And I gotta tell you, it was incredible. All this time I really just set out to go fishing. Goal one is to catch snakehead, and goal two is to just not bird's nest my bait caster reel to the point where it looks like 1980s Harry Bush. So growing up, my dad, my uncles, I'm Vietnamese American, so they pretty much bottom fished, which means they fish with high-low rigs, with shrimp, chicken livers, whatever fish eat. That was like real bait, not like fake lures and things of that nature. So it was just very, I would say, I guess you could call it like more simple fishing. You just put some bait on a hook, put some weight, you throw it out there, and caught fish. Caught all kinds of fish back then. Well, I didn't, they did, and that's how I got into fishing. And then sometime around like 2010, 11, 12, I started like picking up fishing again after like pretty much not going fishing much throughout high school, throughout college, because obviously busy life and like you start doing other things. But I started like going out catching catfish, typical bottom fish spot, things of that nature. And one day my uncle gave my dad like a black trash bag. This is probably like 10, 12 years ago. And then he said, yeah, I just got back from Chainbridge. So anyways, he got two massive northern snakeheads from a friend and gave it to my dad. And from that point on, when we realized that, wow, there's like snakehead in these local waters, awesome. It opens the door for me to like catch other fish, So then, I started figuring out how to catch these fish. And the coolest thing about snakehead fish is that you could really catch them the way you catch bass, which is very active lure fishing. But you could also do just typical, put a bait and cast and just let the bait sit, and you would catch them that way as well. So all types of fishermen, if you want to chill and relax, you could do that. Or if you want to be more active and lure fish, you could do that. But at the time, the only way we could catch them was pretty much off the river. So you'd have to go in the Potomac River. Like, it wasn't known if they're like over, even then, it wasn't known if they're in black water or not. So you really had to go in the Potomac River. Popular spot was Mattawoman Creek. And, with that, I had to learn how to kayak fish. So, the first time I set out to try to catch snakehead, I walked over to like a little pond by Mattawoman Creek, Bumpy Oak Pond, and I tried to catch some snakehead there on topwater lure, with no luck because, people start fishing, they're kind of heavy. And that's when I decided to buy a kayak and start fishing. Now, it took me 10 years to catch this fish, and I know like a lot of guys would probably say, wow, 10 years just to catch a fish, like, you must be really bad fisherman. Well, which, the second part, I'm a bad fisherman, that's true, but I probably could have caught a snakehead if I went more often, or if I spent more time going. I remember I'd like make trips out to like Roach's Run. I know it sounds like I'm giving away spots, but like all these spots are really old school spots. A lot of people know about these fishing spots already. There's nothing new about Mattawoman Creek. There's nothing new about Roach's Run over by like Reagan National Airport. Like, these are just typical
mile, turn left onto Woodfield Road.
Kayak spots. And if you're worried, there's a lot of fishing pressure. There's already a ton of fishing pressure in Mattawoman Creek and Roach's Run and all that stuff. So like this is no like secret to anybody. But yeah, like I went from just regular, fisherman with a spinning rod and reel to like this kayak fisherman. And of course, from then on, I started picking up bait cast reels and stuff because I started lure fishing heavily and started catching like a ton of bass. And as a kid, I never caught bass like this. And then so like, the limited time I went to go fishing, like I was catching bass. So, I go 2-3 hours at a time. Maybe like, gosh, I think the max I went back in like 2012 was probably like 5 times that summer. And then after that, I had to take hiatus, change my career, I went from an accountant to a videographer, and had 2 kids and stuff. So like I took a really long hiatus from fishing for like a solid since 2014, 2015, all the way until pretty much this year. So I mean, I'm not saying I never went fishing in those time frame, but we're talking about like once per year, maybe twice a year during that time period to go fishing. So yeah, 10 years sounds like a lot, but it wasn't like I was going fishing like 10 times a year. It was once or twice a year, 2-3 hours at a time, and probably not the most ideal conditions. A lot of times I went like during the afternoon and stuff like that. That's how long it's been since I've been trying to catch a snakehead, and I finally caught one, and it felt really good. Hey, the bright side is like I became a lot better fisherman. Like, I had no idea back then like what's the difference between braided fluoro and mono filament line. I had no idea like what line to use for what kind of lures, like different rod power and all this stuff for like different lure setups. Like I know all about that stuff now. So I came out a better fisherman for it. And hey, if I caught it like back in the day, if I caught my first snakehead back in the day, like I wouldn't have been like a videographer at the time, so I wouldn't get all this nice video footage of me catching this fish. So yeah, and obviously I want to quickly mention, I have a kayak, a nice one, pedal drive and all that stuff, and it's a Vibe Shearwater 125, and the reason why I don't take it, I have been taking it, to try to catch snakehead. As you can see a lot of the footage, I'm like shore fishing, is because I have limited time. I only have like 2-3 hours when I go fish, and it takes a long time for me to like just load up the kayak on the car, and then like also like kayak spots is kind of far also, so it's a farther drive. Then I gotta load the kayak back. When I get back, I gotta like unload the kayak, and I gotta spray it off. Everything that you have to do as a kayak fisherman, I just don't really have time to. So like it's a lot easier for me to drive 30-45 minutes, get out the car, take a short walk, and start casting and start catching fish. That's why I'm shore fishing instead of using my kayak all this time. With that said, let's just get to the day of when I caught the snakehead. Out here in a really random spot, trying to catch a snakehead. That's what we do around here.
gotcha. I gotcha. Oh, I gotcha. Good morning. Good morning, buddy. Bro, thank you so much, man. I'm serious, bro. Thank you so much. I'm freaking serious, man. Thank you so much, man. You are a beauty. I'm telling you. You are a beautiful fish, man. Gosh, you're beautiful. You'll be fine. Alright, guys, man. Check this guy out, man. This guy's a beaut. He's dirty, or she's dirty on the other side. But look at this, man. She's a beauty. Look at this. Nah, don't track me. Track this. She's a beautiful girl. Golly, man. 10 years. 10 years, guys. 10 freaking years later. She's not big. Probably like 18 inches or something like that. She's so good, though. She's so good. She's not happy with me. Hey, I'm letting you go. I'm letting you go, alright? I'm letting you go. I'm letting you go, buddy. Play around with me like this. Alright, have at it. Walk. You walk. You walk. Huh? That was amazing, guys. I've been hunting these things for a long time, and I'm so happy to get my first one. I would have loved it to get it one on top water, but they don't want top water, man. You just gotta do what you gotta do, and in this situation they want a chatterbait, so I just used a Guggen Squad chatterbait with a Z-Man swimming Z-Man Swimmers swim bait. But I'm really happy. I know it doesn't look like it because my face looked like I'm pissed off all the time, but you don't understand how long it's been, how many different bodies of water I've been to, how many different ponds, lakes, kayaking, and I'm just so happy to be able to finally get one and just, you know, get that monkey off my back, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that was amazing. Fought really hard. That little snakehead has fought harder than any bass I ever caught. Freaking amazing, man. Back to it. What a day. What a day. Look at the size of this bass. This guy is chunky. He got some weight to him. What about that snake? But look at this. Look at that biggin. He's big. Guys, thick.
So yeah, as you can see, I caught a pretty decent snakehead. I think it's more like 20 inches or so. I think, because well, I don't know, it looks a lot longer than like 18 inches or so on the video. But yeah, it's a pretty decent size. And obviously at the end there, I also caught like a bass. So I caught 2 fish, all in the same lure. It was a white Guggen clickbait, aka a chatterbait, pretty much, with a white Z-Man Swimmers 4-inch swim bait as a trailer. The snakehead was caught on a medium heavy Shakespeare carbon rod with an Abu Garcia reel, and the bass was caught on a medium Shakespeare ugly stick carbon with also the same Abu Garcia reel. I think the medium had 20-pound test braid with 20-pound mono, and the medium heavy had a 50-pound braid with a 20-pound mono. And the reason why I go with braid with a mono leader, because a mono is thicker, and it's also less visible to fish, so it's a little more abrasion resistant, and the braid is thinner, so I get some casting distance. And I actually use my medium a lot more than my medium heavy, because the medium one casts a lot further, and that's how I was able to get the lure out there almost the other side of the pond when I caught that bass. But yeah, you know, with that said, you know, this just kind of like coincides with like the video I was talking about before about how snakeheads aren't really like destroying the like ecosystem around here, you know, as much as people say they are. You know, snakeheads obviously invasive fish, and a lot of people just want to be like reckless with just like trying to kill them off, which they'll never succeed. Snakehead is very resilient, obviously, and they're well established here. There's no getting rid of them. But the point is, when you catch snakehead, you also catch bass. And what I found is they kind of like don't hang out in the same spots. So like where I caught that snakehead, I likely will never catch a bass there, at least a bass of that size. And where I caught that bass, a snakehead will probably not be hanging around there. And as you can see, that bass was very healthy. His stomach was massive. There's plenty of turtles and stuff, frogs jumping everywhere at that pond. So there was like no, you know, issues in my opinion of snakeheads being active and populated in that little pond, killing off every other species of animal and fish there is. So like if there was any video, there's any video that could have proved my point in terms of like how snakeheads aren't as like horrible to the environment, horrible to the ecosystem here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, it was this video, because my target was snakehead. And as I have been all this, you know, 10 years fishing on and off, targeting snakehead, and all I do is catch bass, this video is, you know, more proof, right? I finally caught a snakehead, but on that same day, still targeting snakehead the whole day, I'd catch a nice thick Maryland bass. In terms of like what most people catch here in Maryland, that bass was actually pretty thick. You know, you're not gonna get like these constant 10-20 pounders like you get in Florida, California, and all that stuff. You know, like if you catch a bass the size I caught, like, you know, it's a very good day for you. Like you could just go through like, you know, I don't know, Fish Brain app and see everyone's bass catches, and you probably won't see bass that big usually. So yeah, that is that. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, like and subscribe, and Until next time, lighten up.
Gosh, you're beautiful. God, you're beautiful, man. Look at you. You're a beaut.